Hey guys, here are a couple of problems from this lesson. These are applications of fractions, so word problems. Sam mixed 3/2 cups of milk with 1/4 of a cup of chocolate syrup in a glass. How much chocolate milk does Sam now have? And I'm going to use the problem solving strategy, draw a picture. Okay, there's a list of strategies on that chart you can look at. Let's see. Here's my glass. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so I know I'm going to fill it up with milk. There's the milk. And this is 3/2. Okay, and then it says I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of the chocolate syrup. So just like a little bit. It's going to fill it a little bit higher. Okay. So drawing this picture has kind of made me think about addition as my operation. Okay, and that's what the picture will do for you. It'll get you to think about, am I going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide in this problem? And so I'm filling it, I'm adding more in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add these. 3/2 plus 1/4. I need a common denominator here. Okay, 2 goes into 4, so let's just make it out of 4. 2 times 2 would get me 4. So that's why I'm multiplying by 2. I get 6/4 plus 1/4. That's going to get me 7/4. Okay. And then in the real world, you probably wouldn't want to write that in your recipe. I am making 7/4 of a cup of milk. You would probably want to change that to a mixed number. So I'm going to take the top, divide by the bottom. Numerator divided by denominator. 4 goes into 7 once. This is my remainder. So I'm going to have 1 as my whole number, 3 as my numerator, 4 as my denominator. Whole number, numerator, denominator. Okay, so 1 3/4 of a cup. All right, the scuba diver. So we've got the scuba diver who is 75 feet below sea level. So here's the surface of the water. Here's going to be my measurement device. So 75 feet. Okay, and then here's the diver. I'm going to draw those little flippers on their feet. All right, it's the worst drawing of a scuba diver ever. So she ascends 12.7 feet. What the heck does that mean? I don't know. Let's look it up. Ascends. Let's see what it means. To ascend is to go up or climb. Great. So let's go back to my picture and let's draw an arrow that she is going to go up a little bit by 12.7 feet. Okay, and then we're going to get to the current depth. It's going to be right there. Okay, so now one more detail. I'm going to remember that the surface of the water is going to be sea level. That's 0 feet. Okay, so now the question is, am I going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Okay, what I'm thinking here is that when we ascend, we're kind of like getting less deep. Okay, so this word ascend means to go up, and you are going to be less deep. So I'm thinking I'm going to subtract. I'm going to take my depth of 75 feet and subtract the amount that I am ascending, because that number is making me less deep. Okay, and you can do this old-fashioned. This is how they do it in your lessons. They rock a little columnar subtraction. You can do this part in the calculator. Okay, this is 5th grade math. The part of drawing the picture, figuring out that we're subtracting, that is actually 6th grade math, but it's in your unit, so we're going to go ahead and do it. All right, so if you had popped this into your calculator, you would have already gotten 62.3. So 62.3 feet, ooh, would be wrong. What's wrong with it? Check this out. I forgot something important. If we're below sea level, the 75 is going to be negative. Okay? When we ascend the 12.7 feet, okay, we're actually still going to be negative. Okay? Because we didn't get to the surface yet. We only went up 12 feet. So we're at negative 62.3. And that makes me want to revise my equation here. I think this is definitely how we do the problem, but a better equation would have been negative 75 plus 12.7. Okay, and then the work that I did here was correct if you think about it. Think about what we were doing last lesson. Okay, we said if we had different signs, we would subtract the absolute values and then take the sign of the greater absolute value. And that's exactly what happened here. Okay, look at the work I did right here. This was subtracting the absolute values. And then making it the negative, okay, was because the negative 75, oops, the negative 75 had a greater absolute value. So that's why we take its sign. Okay, and that's how we add numbers with different signs. We subtract the absolute values, take the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. Okay, pretend they're both positive, then the bigger number wins. But anyway, word problem strategy, draw a picture. Thanks, guys.